Hey everyone, welcome back. Tonight, I'm bringing you a single story that's been haunting me since the day I received it. This one is darker, more disturbing, and more mysterious than anything I've shared before. It involves real black magic, generational curses, and something that is still happening to the person who sent it. This story comes from Ethan in Salem, Massachusetts. He asked me to change his last name. Everything else is exactly as he described. If you're sensitive to occult topics, you might want to skip this one. Let's begin. My grandfather died in October 2021. He was 89, lived alone in the old Victorian house on the edge of Salem that had been in our family since the 1800s. Everyone said he was eccentric. I knew he was something worse. After the funeral, I was the one who had to clean out the attic. It was freezing up there, full of dust and spider webs. In the far corner, behind a loose floorboard, I found a heavy leather book wrapped in black cloth. No title on the cover, just strange symbols burned into the leather. When I opened it, the pages were thick, handwritten in Old English, mixed with Latin, and symbols that made my eyes hurt if I stared too long. The first page read, "Property of Elias Crow, 1897. Whosoever reads these words and speaks them aloud shall open the door. There is no closing it." Instead, I took it home. The first week, nothing happened. I'm 34, work as a night security guard, live alone in a small apartment in Salem. I started reading the book at night because I couldn't sleep anyway. Some pages were protection spells, some were curses, some were rituals to speak with the dead. One page in the middle was titled The Skinwalker Rite. It promised power, wealth, but it required a blood pact. On the night of the new moon in November 2022, I did it. I was drunk and angry at the world. I followed every instruction exactly. Drew the circle with my own blood, spoke the names written in the book, burned the herbs it listed. At the end, I cut my palm and pressed it onto the final page. Nothing dramatic happened. No wind, no voices. I laughed at myself and went to bed. 3 days later, the changes started. I woke up with perfect recall of dreams where I was someone else. A tall man in old-fashioned clothes walking through 19th century Salem at night. I started finding small dead animals on my doorstep arranged in perfect circles. My co-workers said I looked different. More confident, they said. Women who never noticed me before suddenly smiled at me. Money started coming in unexpectedly. A forgotten investment paid out $28,000. I got promoted even though I barely worked. I felt powerful. Then the blackouts began. I would lose entire evenings. I'd wake up in different clothes with dirt on my shoes and blood under my nails, but no memory of what I'd done. My phone showed searches I never made, occult forums, missing persons cases in Salem, articles about my own grandfather from the 1970s. In March 2023, I installed hidden cameras in my apartment, just like the guy in the last story. The footage destroyed me. At 2:33 a.m., while I was clearly asleep in bed, another version of me got up. Same face, same body, but the eyes were completely black. This other me walked to the living room, opened a grimoire, and began performing rituals, speaking in a language that didn't sound human. Sometimes it would cut its own arm and let the blood drip onto photographs of me. The worst part, the entity wasn't just using my body. It was slowly becoming me. Over the next year, my memories started disappearing. Childhood memories of my mother were replaced with memories of a woman I'd never met. I forgot my own PIN code. Friends said I sometimes spoke with a slight accent I never had. My reflection in mirrors started smiling half a second after I did. I tried to destroy the book. I burned it in a metal barrel. The next morning, it was back on my coffee table, completely untouched, smelling of smoke. I went to a priest. He took one look at the book, refused to touch it, and told me to leave his church. He said some doors, once opened, can only be closed from the other side. Last month, the replacement became almost complete. I woke up in the middle of the night standing in front of my bathroom mirror. The man looking back at me was no longer me. The eyes
were wrong. The smile was wrong. He whispered in my own voice, "You had your turn. Now it's mine. Elias Crow sends his regards." I smashed the mirror. When I looked down at the shards, every single piece showed the other man smiling at me. I'm writing this from a motel in New Hampshire. I left everything behind. The grimoire is still in my old apartment. I can feel it calling me even from 40 miles away. But here's what scares me most. 2 nights ago I received a package at the motel. No return address. Inside was a new page, freshly torn from the grimoire. On it was a single handwritten sentence in fresh blood. Ethan Crow, 2026. The ritual is almost complete. I never told anyone my full name is Ethan Crow. That was my grandfather's last name too. And the date on the page is today. Ethan is still on the run. He checks in every few weeks and says the blackouts are getting longer. He says sometimes he wakes up with memories that belong to a man who died in 1911. If this story terrified you, comment with the part that hit hardest. And if you've ever found something in your family's old things that felt wrong, send it in. I read everything. Lock your doors. Burn anything you find in the attic. And whatever you do, never speak the words out loud. I'll see you in the next one, if I'm still me.